Yo, hello, hello. What's up? I don't believe there's anybody in here yet. We're doing a bit of a late night vampire stream right now. I'm gonna be handing out the link. Let me know if there's anyone here at this point, can hear me, or if everything is working properly, so that we can move on with the stream. But yeah, if you didn't already see the title or haven't talked about it today already, um, Dillian Whyte has sued the WBC, essentially, I assume, over the issue of his mandatory position being delayed for an extremely long amount of time. And then you also have Ryan Garcia, who complained about his situation, where he feels he deserves to be paid more money on July 4th for headlining that card, and he has thus been replaced by Virgil Ortiz Jr., who is more willing, it seems, to fight on that date, regardless of the fact that there's no audience or complaining about any paying issues. So first, I'd like to cover the part with Ryan Garcia, because for me, this guy has become, I feel he's almost heading to hype job level. Not the fact that anything's done in the ring, but I just feel like he's exposing himself outside of the ring. It seems like he is doing slander his own, caring about followers and modeling. Or I mean, he's already said he wants to retire young. And how can you make that kind of claim when you truly haven't accomplished anything in the sport of boxing? I believe he's like maybe a silver champion or something like that. But his wins aren't bad, but they're nowhere near champion level. He's a low level contender, high prospect area. You know what I mean? Not that I don't think he has the skills or talent or potential to become a champion or even multiple weight champion, but he's talking as if he's already achieved these things, or as if he's already a proven fighter. When I think if he gets knocked out in his next fight, not that I wouldn't be shocked, but I wouldn't be. Maybe I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean? He's a promising star, like up and coming star, but the key word is up and coming. And the idea that um, he's calling out Golden Boy for low ball offers when he's your boss, it seems ridiculous. Essentially, he's built up his name off of just being on Instagram and making not YouTube, but Instagram clips of fast hand speed. But I mean, I don't think that makes you a boxer. Yo, what's up, DJ? We got Smoke. Get the Smoke. How you doing, man? I believe you're muted right now.
Hey, what's up, man? Hold on one second.
That's fine. Um, yeah. So to kind of, I don't know if you were listening in. I don't know how long you were backstage. My bad. But
No, I wasn't backstage very long, and I was listening in. I was just in the chat first, and then, so yeah, I heard what you were saying about Ryan Garcia, and yeah, his where he feels like his I guess the best return for investment for his talents lie, whether or not it's boxing or the fact that the ladies find him appealing, easy on the eyes.
yeah, I don't feel like it's a real draw. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't think his fan base transfers, because I'm sure a portion of it does. I don't know how significant, but people will tune in. People will buy tickets. It's kind of like a spectacle thing, seeing a star on the rise. But I don't know, just this idea that he's valuing himself at such a high price. Not to say that you should undervalue yourself, right? Or that you shouldn't be trying to get paid as much money as you can. But the fact that this, he's letting these things pass him by on the basis of I'm worth more money, like more money on knocking out Romero Duno or Fonseca. You know what I mean? Like he's not even in a mandatory spot. He's not even an interim champion. He's actually like if he retires now, he would be nothing. You know what I mean? He would just be like he was a star that kind of faded away, or he was up and coming. I don't get where he gets this sense of entitlement.
It comes from, for me, and this seems to be like a running theme about like what people value. Me versus what maybe somebody else may think. For me, there were fewer belts, fewer sanctioning bodies, so guys fought each other. So when a guy was number one, it was because he beat the guys before him. He fought his way to get to the number one spot, even before he was a champion. It wasn't because of like took his way and social media his way into several division championship title being belt holders. What that will mean for his overall boxing legacy, it seems as though he's saying, for him, it's more about prize fighting. And as far as prize fighting goes, he makes more money doing other things.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect summary. And like the thing is, you wouldn't expect someone who's really like young and hungry trying to get a title shot, and they would be as active as they can. Like the social media thing, I think would be like a plus, an extra bonus. But for him, it seems to be driving his career. And the last time he fought was in February. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure his appeal a bit comes from the gate, but I thought maybe he would understand that that's not possible at the moment. And he apparently was asking for about 500,000, which to me is completely just absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? D, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's pretty late for us here. I can't imagine what's it like 4 a.m. over there. Yeah, thank you. But to kind of go back to what I was saying, $500,000 for a guy who's never even sniffed a world title, that is just completely ludicrous. I mean, you have guys like Chocolatito, who's former pound for pound. That guy's highest payday is I think $600,000, and he was a multiple weight champion considered pound for pound. Even if you don't want to consider him number one, I think you can recognize his skills are far beyond that of a Ryan Garcia is asking for a similar payday to fight someone I'm sure who's not a former champ, not a current champ, not a unified champ. You know what I mean? It seems just preposterous to me.
Well, I think the issue really comes down to what the inventory is at Golden Boy and what their ability to promote and get out there and be in the Ryan Garcia business is, right? You have Reynoso saying he'd like to see some more tune-ups, or he'd like to see more out of Ryan Garcia before he starts to step up to these big fights. Whether he can win or lose right now, he'd like to hedge his bet and see some more from Ryan Garcia, no matter how diplomatic the language you want to put it, right? The issue is Reynoso wants to see more, right?
Yeah.
We want to see more. This guy is saying a lot of things that he's doing a lot of his own promotion, even though he's signed to a multi-promotion deal. And it seems like the way that he's promoting is controversy again, and him versus everybody, him versus all of his contemporaries, him versus his promoter, him versus, the situation that every fighter finds himself in this COVID situation. Like it's just him versus the world, and it's only matters with him. Now, if whatever it is that whatever social media, whatever it is he's leveraged that pays him more than boxing, more power to him. I'm not gonna hate on the young man for it. Getting as everybody knows that boxing takes a lot out of you, and there's long-term effects. So I'm not gonna bash the guy, but I appreciate his talent and his skills. If he is split focused, though, he's not going to be able to actually be the best boxer that he could be. And I don't know if that will make him the best model that he could be. Maybe he can figure out some sort of.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough business to have your foot between boxing and modeling.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell, or maybe he'll do some hybrid or figure out how to be famous in his own way and create his own lane. And I'm not mad at his entrepreneurial spirit. I'm just saying, from what I understand about the sport, he's not going to be able to maximize his talents. It's similar to a way that Tank isn't, because of the focus and the dedication specifically to the sport and not other things.
Yeah, and for Tank, it's an issue of discipline, and for Ryan, I don't feel like it's a discipline issue as much as it's a and this may sound weird because a lot of times people use these words synonymously, but like focus. And it's not that he's not working out and he's not staying in shape, because I do believe he is. It's just like you're saying, he has one foot in this area, one foot in this door. You know, it seems like he's kind of busy with a lot of things, and I agree with your sentiments and Reynoso's sentiments that I want to see more, because I I have this weird, like, I like him one day, I hate him the other day, I like him one day, I hate him the other day, because he does things in the ring that are very impressive to me, right? And I see him working out outside, even through these videos, and while I don't necessarily buy into the fact that these videos are his skill, right? You know, because you can look in a punching bag and get beat up in the ring, but at least it tells me he's working out, right? Just I don't like that he's a young guy. He's not a champion. He's never been a champion. He's never fought for a title. He's not even an interim title. He's not fighting top level opposition yet, and he already has this aura of entitlement. And I can't imagine, with how little power he actually does have. Like, I'm not talking about boxing power, but like leverage. What he's gonna do when he does, or if he does accomplish this, like becoming a champion, a unified multiple, like, you know, as soon as he accomplishes something, as soon as he has an accolade, I cannot imagine the kind of requests he's going to be saying. I feel like didn't he just sign a deal, like one of the most lucrative deals for a prospect ever, and now he's saying it's not enough because he's not getting $500,000 during quarantine. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, you know, Virgil Ortiz does not make other things. Hagler. I'm gonna butcher his, his quote, but basically, it's hard to train when hard to get up at 5 a.m. when you sleeping in silk sheets, right?
Yeah.
So this guy is experiencing that apparently outside of boxing. So there's very few people who actually opt to box and to make a bunch of money boxing when they have options to make more money doing something else. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look at Vostick. That was yesterday's news, you know. Vostick retired and said, you know, I had business, I had boxing. I can't be half dedicated to both, so I picked business.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, usually boxers don't have options. I think, and really they come from a particular like there's an entire thing that goes behind getting into boxing in the first place, right? So if Ryan Garcia is like already transcended his boxing career, like where he is, because like I was saying, his contemporaries, the other guys who are 22, 23, 21, are actually a lot more accomplished, both financially, both inside the ring and outside the ring, than he is when it comes to the sport of boxing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can
Tanks,
say
the David Benavides, the Devin Haney's, the T.O.'s, his guys, the guys that he competed with in the gyms coming up, like those dudes they more than sniffed the championship. They are either current champions who beat champions,
multiple time champions.
Yeah, all kinds of guys who actually made 7 figures in a fight.
Yeah,
so
sorry, go.
No, I was saying, I get where where his frustration might lie, but what I hear is really there's going to be a ceiling to maximizing his potential, right? He's just not going to be. It's just like I said, it's like Tank, but in a different kind of way. Like Tank, anyway, it's just a different. It's the same issue, but it's the same basic issue, but for different like circumstances, kind of thing, I guess. For lack of a better phrase, I guess,
Yeah, it's a similar issue, but yeah, different circumstances. They both have the same problem, but not the same situation. For me, I do think not all of his contemporaries are more successful than him, obviously. I think, what's that one guy from the Mayweather gym who called him out and he kind of just skipped him? He wanted to fight Tank, obviously, and then Mayweather or Ellerby was saying you have to fight this guy if you want to fight Tank, and that never happened. He's obviously not. I'm not trying to say he's the least successful, because he does have his financial success, and I don't think he's accomplished much in boxing, but he's at least become sensational to some. But you're right. I mean, Devin Haney is technically a champion, right? Even if you want to say he's a paper champion, you can just say he had an interim title. That's more than you can say about Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez is knocked out a champion. Tank Davis is a two-time champion, right? You can say two-weight if you count the WBA regular. David Benavides is a two-time champion. He got stripped the first time, but doesn't change the fact that he's a sitting WBC champion in an exciting division right now, especially pretty competitive division at the top. So these guys who are around his age, even though Tank is probably the oldest, funny enough, these guys are far more accomplished than him, and I feel like he has a very strong sense of entitlement over social media or like Instagram followers. And not that you shouldn't ask for more money because, like you were saying, it's a damaging sport. Just I don't think he has the right mentality about asking for that money or how he portrays himself publicly when asking for that money. Because then you have him and his own promoter arguing over Twitter, and it's just a really unprofessional. It's really a bad take. And this is now, I believe, the second time that Virgil Ortiz has picked up for Ryan Garcia's slack. So to me, and I've always felt this, I like Virgil Ortiz more in and outside of the ring because of the way he acts, the way he fights, and who he's fighting, right? Virgil Ortiz is fighting guys who fought for titles multiple times, and he's knocking them out or knocking out guys who've never been knocked out before, right? Like proven veterans like Mauricio Herrera. That guy, as you know, some people feel he beat Danny Garcia. Whether or not he did, it was a close fight. And it's not the same Herrera, but the point still stands where this is a veteran, this is a proven guy who's supposed to be tricky, crafty, and he knocked him out badly. It was like a knockout of the year contender, if not knockout of the year. So, that's basically where I stand on Ryan Garcia. And it just seems like he's constantly whining about these financial things when it, like financial situations and how much he's getting paid and how poorly he's being treated when he's really, I feel he's getting a really good deal.
Well, really, it seems all right. So there's the whole keeping up with the Joneses, right? And keeping it in the competition with his contemporaries and his peers. But there's another thing, like I was saying, it's like if you actually have options. I'm not quite sure what options Teofimo has outside of boxing, and if he would be making more money outside of boxing, would he be? And if are Virgil Ortiz or Devin Haney or any of these other guys, like there's a different issue that he's talking. There's two separate things that are like sort of happening, but regardless of those, the uniqueness of those ideas, they're converging to create a situation where I don't think he's going to be able to be the best fighter he could be. Like what he actually does in the sport seems like right now is being definitely harmed and damaged by where he is mentally and what he's focused on. And
Yeah, I don't know how many other ways there are to say his attention is divided, and I think eventually it'll show. You know what I mean?
I think it already has. I think it already has shown, and I think the fact that he is fighting Fortuna now and then playing the diva role is showing, like, really what we can probably expect from Ryan Garcia, in the next, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
Unless he did something really fast.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think Jorge Linares would have been a good fight. Whether or not I think he would have won, I think it's just a good win on your resume. It gives you a reason to challenge for a title. It's a good step up, and just exactly what you said, the diva like mentality that he's having, where he's arguing and bickering over money at this point in his career when he's, I don't know. I just don't see any 21-year-old fighter who's never touched a world title asking for $500,000 and that being reasonable, especially since he just renegotiated his contract. And Tommy Temper, how you doing? Let me know if you want to link. I think I dropped in there earlier, but if it's not showing, let me know.
Yeah, I may give Dillian Whyte a bunch of stick, but Dillian Whyte is making millions. Like you know, he's fighting people and making millions. Like regardless of his particular circumstance. Yeah, it's not Ryan Garcia fighting nobody and asking for more. But I think I guess the overall thing about fighting Linares for me is whatever you can say about fighting Linares, it's way better than fighting nobody and getting into Twitter beefs with Tank Davis.
Yeah. I mean, the way I feel about let me wake up first. Yeah, I'll let you wake up, man. But just the way I feel about Davis, I think what he's done in the ring is fine, and I really dislike him outside of the ring. But for me, Ryan Garcia is so polarizing between outside and inside the ring that it just nullifies to a I don't care what happens. Like maybe I'll tune into his fights, maybe not live, right? If someone else is on the card that I like, I'll do that. But if it's just a Ryan Garcia headlined event, um, this is an upgrade for me. Virgil Ortiz headlined event. This is an upgrade because I'm more interested in seeing Ortiz, anyways.
For me, Golden Boy is by far. I don't know. I feel like they have 100-something fighters too, and I know 3 of them, maybe 4 of them. Is Navarrete Golden Boy or is he top rank? I think he's top.
No,
rank.
I think he's top rank.
Yeah. So Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, Canelo. Oh no, and then that guy at 154, Teixeira.
Yeah, and Linares is also with them.
Right, Linares. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
You're not excited for Jorge Linares?
Like I said, it's better than nobody. It's better than nobody. And saying I only get 200K. Like even if you don't, even if it is 200K, like I don't need to know how much money you get. Like that's not really that interesting to me. But especially since you held out to sign a contract, and we're talking big shit when you held out just like one fight ago about how great your contract was and how you held out. So like one fight later, amidst a worldwide pandemic. But like I said, maybe he has more options than Virgil Ortiz. So Virgil Ortiz, you got to sing for a supper. That's what's up. Virgil Ortiz can take a couple clicks and watch the checks roll in. I'm not gonna hate on the young man, however he makes his swag, but as a fighter, that's gonna be problematic.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly who's under the Golden Boy banner, right? But so I decided to Google it here, and there's more names than I actually thought there were, but I'll screen share right now. Let me know if you can see it. Da, 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 da. Okay, so here it is. These are his fighters. These are the champions here. This is counting like NABA and Continental, so I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna go over the ones I know. This guy's a prospect. Angel Acosta is a former world champion. Alvarado, he's a current WBA regular world champion. Canelo Alvarez, I think we know him, right? Zhu Khan is the regular WBA champion. Pablo Cesar Cano, I know him. Blair Cobbs, smoke. I mean, he has the Blair Cobbs. He has a unified. Wait, this isn't right. She's not minimum weight. That's they need to fix that. But she's the unified champion. Remember her? She had that whole controversy with her opponent, who looks masculine. We'll say got popped for PEDs. Jojo Diaz, Romero Juno, he just got knocked out. Or she
who during the Floyd controversy, they decided to give her belts back.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it was the WBC, and what was the other title? It was the WBO. The WBO gave it back to her quickly, I think. Whatever the other sanctioning body was, I should probably know this. They gave Cruz her title back almost immediately, and then WBC took a while to do it, and the president came out and said he believes Jimenez is still innocent. So there goes undermining literally everything that happened there. Diego de la Hoya, obviously we know him for his last name, and he got upset recently. Jojo Diaz, sitting world champion. Like I said, Duno, lost to Garcia recently. Rashidi Ellis, promising prospect. Esparza, she's a good female fighter. She was in a cool fight last time with Estrada here. Rashidi Ellis, actually just really quick to cover him. I really like the way he fights. I think he has skills. I think the way they've matched him up with opponents and like have built him up has been terrible. Like I really want to see more from him, and they just aren't letting it happen because he's at welterweight, you know. So
Yeah,
Golden Boy should
yeah,
be pushing him more.
yeah. Where the hell is Rashidi Ellis? I like the guy too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got some solid fighters here. Ryan Garcia is here, obviously, right? And Joey Gonzalez lost to Shakur Stevenson. These guys are like pretty solid, but it's extremely top heavy. This guy lost to Andrew Cancio, and they signed Cancio, and as soon as Cancio lost to Alvarado, who's up here, I saw him earlier, they dropped him. So that's cool. Real nice of them. David Lemieux, Jorge Linares. Yeah, I mean, Bagtamir Melikuziev. I didn't even know he was under Golden Boy. You know him, right? Have you seen him?
Sorry, who'd you say?
Bagtamir Melikuziev. He's like a prospect at super middleweight, but he looks mean.
Damn, you're breaking up. Hold on 1 second.
Oh.
Let me go to another spot. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Sorry. So what name did you say?
Bagtamir Melikuziev. He's a super middleweight prospect.
Hell no, I don't know Bekhtiev.
You don't know Bagtamir Melikuziev?
No.
I'll send you.
I'm glad I got it clearly so I could hear. No, Bekhtiev. Sorry. I may have seen the guy fight, but you know, if your name has that many characters, and you know, especially with Champ Ross, you'll have like 5 different guys with 27 characters in their names that I never heard of.
Arslanbek Makumata? No, I'm just kidding. I'll send you some videos if I can, but this guy he's mean. I think he's gonna be big. And there's some other channels you'll hear. They are bigging him up too. I think he's gonna be good. He's world champion at the minimum weight, Munsuri, right? Shane Mosley Jr. I think he lost in the Contender Series versus Brandon Adams. Munguia, I forgot to mention him, but he's cool too. I like his last fight.
We mentioned them, but we mentioned them once, but then didn't make the list of like top 3 guys or 4 guys.
Yeah.
But really, there's 10 guys, and there's a woman. Right.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of champions, like legitimate champions. Just they're not very strongly associated with the brand, even. Yeah, so I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, there's basically 10 people that are relevant to the sport in the male division, and 1 woman.
Just a couple women.
A couple, and all right, so and 2 women, and yeah, there's I'm not sure how many fighters they have, but I think it's over 100.
Yeah. I mean, Hector Tanahara, he's good. Patrick Teixeira, he's the current world champion, but people view him as possibly the weakest world champion because many people saw that fight as an upset, right? So yeah, I mean, not a bad stable, not a very deep one, however. To your point.
Yeah. And also to the overall subject matter, Ryan Garcia has a unique opportunity because he is one of those names, and he's just lagging. He's got to put in work, even if it's bum bash. At least say what you will about Santiago, Haney fought him.
Yeah, and then
I actually got $1 million doing it too. We did get $1 million doing it, but. And that's got to suck if you're both on the zone. I guess that's Ryan Garcia. Yeah. But hey, Devin Haney's a champion, and Ryan Garcia is not. So no matter what you say about the franchise, so
yeah, exactly. And then Mark made a correction. Felix Alvarado is the IBF champion at light flyweight. I was thinking of Rene Alvarado, who is a super featherweight beating Cancio. So I just got the last name mixed up. My bad. So it's not like they don't have champions. Just I think the point is they're not very strongly associated with even the brand of Golden Boy, which is kind of an issue when you're supposed to be a promoter and people only associate you with certain marquee fighters who are constantly bashing you. You know what I mean? I mean, both Ryan Garcia and Canelo have spoken out against Golden Boy before. So I can't imagine it's a great look. And while they do have
No,
some good prospects, some of them aren't being moved.
even Linares is popping off at the mouth now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard Linares say anything, and now all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, who'd you fight? You trying to be like?" Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what's going on at Golden Boy, but there's definitely something happening, right? Oscar De La Hoya and his controversies with like kitchen utensils, I think may have driven a wedge between him and the fighters, but I don't know. That's just me outside speculating.
Yeah, I think he totally botched the Deverenchenko Canelo situation. Mark, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? What's up?
What time is it for you, Mark?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Oh, all right, so more reasonable, but not. I mean, no. It's like
All right, I got
1 a.m.
5.5. I got 5.5 hours sleep.
Oh, okay. So, what are your thoughts on the Ryan Garcia situation? I don't know if you've spoken on it, but
Which situation?
Ryan Garcia basically beefing with Golden Boy on Twitter for everyone to see, and Golden Boy saying because Ryan Garcia did not want to fight on July 4th, they're going to be having the fight headlined by Virgil Ortiz instead. I think this is the second time Virgil Ortiz has picked up Ryan Garcia's slack.
Yeah, it's not really a situation.
Yeah, I mean, just what are your thoughts on Ryan Garcia, I guess?
Yeah, on America's birthday, no fighting happening. He didn't take the fight. 200K.
Like, yeah.
He didn't like the purse.
What's this is for July the 4th?
Yeah, so 4th of July, I think. 4th of July, he was going to fight. They offered him $200,000, and he said, I want half a million. He said, I want half a million, and he turned down even fighting. He said, I'm not going to fight.
Okay, so long story short, without going too much into him, it's a real slap in the face, isn't it? It's one, it's a slap in the face to the American boxing fan. Two, it's a pandemic. You should kind of understand what's going on. Three, you don't really deserve more than 200 grand. To be honest, you don't deserve 200 grand.
Yeah.
Especially since it's gonna it's definitely gonna be a bum bash, right? He's getting 200K to fight nobody, to just beat somebody up and get another KO.
A first round KO.
I mean, didn't Yordenis Ugas like get 250K to fight Sean Porter in a world title fight? Like, who the fuck does this kid think he is?
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't. Brad, he's obviously a diva, and yeah, man, I'd say good riddance if I was Golden Boy. I don't think any of the other promoters would let that shit fly with a prospect like that. He's not even a well-touted prospect, really. What the fuck did he win as an amateur? Like, what did he win as an amateur? All of his touts coming off of his Instagram.
He went even with Devin Haney. I mean, that's what he did,
cool.
I guess. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Devin Haney, who turned like pro at 15 or something, like, or 18 or 17, like, whatever, man. Yeah, sure.
Like, I mean, who gives a fucking shit, bro? Look, he's a bitch. Excuse the language, but that's what he's just bitching and crying, really.
Yeah.
Like, leave him to it. If he materializes into a good boxer, good luck to the kid. But I think he's the US Amir Khan, to be honest. Fast hands, flashy, leaves his chin in the air, gonna get clocked.
You know, that's a pretty good comparison, because I think that I don't know. I like the way he fights. Obviously, it's entertaining. I can't deny that. But what he's actually what he's done to what he's getting and what he feels he needs to earn is it just gets wider and wider the more you talk about it. He wasn't. I don't know what he did in the amateurs. Probably like a national champion, right? Not bad, but you have Olympians that just get brushed under the rug. So it's clearly all coming from his Instagram following, and then from there, people just want to see knockouts. I guess. Why do you get half a million?
Back in the 80s and 90s, being Golden Gloves, being state, being national champion, that meant something. Nowadays, that means nothing in American amateur boxing. It really doesn't. If you don't go to the Olympics, the amateurs doesn't matter. Unless, like, you start out as a pro, like, really well. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, so
the U.S. amateur boxing is just in flux because of the age limit, because of the way the Olympics are. Like, there's just a whole group of guys that fell through the cracks, and then there's a couple of guys. There's Shakur who went. It's just in flux right now. I don't know how it's gonna shake it, how it's gonna pan out.
I mean, like, y'all do have some good amateurs like young Keyshawn Davis and stuff like that, but look, why Garcia isn't even as decorated as him?
Yeah, no, he legitimately is not. It's a combination of people look at an amateur record, but it's mostly, I mean, we can all say it's mostly his Instagram following, right? And to me, while his last performances were like visually appealing, it didn't really answer questions that people have about his chin, about going in there with. I feel like maybe his fights were supposed to be tough and they weren't. At this point, you should, kick it up, jump him past to where he should have been building up, and just actually go. But he's still like complaining about money. He's not even. I was telling Smoke earlier, he's complaining about money and he's not even sniffed a world title. So imagine when he does have a title, or possibly two, or whatever his career goes.
He's in a unique position, though, isn't he? Because we've not seen this before, where somebody has essentially sponsorship and an Instagram following like that from the get-go, right? And because he gets that, he probably makes more money off of endorsements on Instagram by doing Instagram stories. They pay $5-6 a story.
Yeah, and Smoke was saying earlier, if he's making money outside of the ring, that's great, but it's gonna distract him from his development as an actual boxer. And
he's going to be looking for more money as a boxer, but the thing is, he's not on that playing field as a boxer as he is as an Instagram star.
Exactly. He's more of an Instagram influencer than he is a boxing champion.
Yeah, when you say the word influencer, you're pretty much just saying that kid's a stripper.
He's a social media stripper. You're right. There you go. And then if all our thoughts are over with that, I would like to go to the WBC situation with Dillian Whyte. And that one's a situation mark.
That's an ongoing situation.
I can imagine Garcia like saying in a fight like, "Don't hit me in the face. It's the moneymaker." Like,
yeah. Yeah, something cheesy about how he needs to keep his looks for Instagram, right?
Here's what I don't understand. Where have these male fans come from, Ryan Garcia?
How fast he knocked out Fortuna?
Yeah, Fonseca, yeah.
That's what it was, Fonseca.
Yeah, bro, I'll be honest. Fortuna might knock that kid out.
Yeah, I think he's been definitely
Fortuna
overhyped.
can get. You just don't know which Fortuna is going to show up. Like the guy that's going to be disciplined, or the guy that might like bite you, or like kick you, or step on your foot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that probably covers it for Ryan Garcia. I just haven't been able to make a video or live where I remember to talk about him. But yeah, that guy, he has potential. He has talent. He has a lot of people backing him. I feel it's going to go to waste.
He looks like
and he's from California too. Like he's from where we're from. Like, damn, come on, bro.
I've been to where he's from. Like
Yeah, I have a warehouse out that way. But anyway, yeah.
I like supporting people from my state, but that guy's just he's just so annoying. I don't even care.
Exactly. That is not how you do it. Like, I can appreciate the fact that you have multiple avenues to earn a living, and maybe boxing is not panning out the way you thought it's going to pan out. But this is, I guess it's cautionary. We're learning. We get it, at least in this new generation, these guys are airing all their dirty laundry, so we get to see in real time, like, the destruction of a fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
that's so morbid, bro. That's so morbid.
Yeah, basically, he's dismantling himself on social media, on Twitter and Instagram. But to actually move on, finally on the next topic, I'm going to make a very bold statement, and that is that Tyson Fury is ducking. He's ducking Dillian Whyte if he drops that belt. If he drops that WBC title, he's officially ducking Dillian Whyte. That's what's happening. I think.
Yeah, you can't say that with a straight face.
I can. I will say, I think if he legitimately drops the belt or elevates himself to franchise, thinking that he can just bypass the Dillian Whyte fight, I'm going to be so mad because there's no reason to do it. Realistically, the WBO and the IBF are going to be enforcing a mandatory on AJ, and he'll have the Deontay Wilder fight. This is presuming he wins. What is he going to do? Like it's not like AJ is ready to fight him. He needs to have something to occupy him, and he would. But he's going online and making videos or whatever saying he's going to get upgraded to franchise status or just drop the belt, and that he cares more about his lineal status, his Ring magazine. Oh my God.
Well, what about this? Even though Fury signed this, what if he's been instructed to say this? What if there's a possibility that Top Rank are ducking Dillian Whyte?
Then that's unfortunate because he represents Top Rank.
I know.
He represents himself for Top Rank.
He does, but what if Top Rank are getting him to do it because I'll give you a simple reason. Tyson Fury has a 5-fight deal with Top Rank and ESPN, yes or no?
Yeah, he does.
He's had 3 of those fights already. Schwartz, Wallin, Wilder. His next fight is Wilder. That's 4 fights on said deal. The 5th fight, do they want it to be the big money fight with AJ, or do they want it to be Dillian Whyte?
Yeah, I mean, you could say Top Rank is threatening, or Bob Arum is saying he would like to elevate Fury to the franchise status so that they can essentially fight AJ. But if Top Rank was really so unsure about him staying with them, I feel like it would be better for them to just renegotiate his contract or give him a raise or something to ensure that he renews a deal, or they can just renew a deal now. But this idea for me that I'm going to defend Fury because of what the promotional company wants to do in their best interest, that's not going to fly. You know what I'm saying?
So here's really what it is when it comes to saying a duck. Like, for me, I find it unseemly on a couple of different levels. But if it's for Undisputed that he fights, I can't really call it a duck, because I don't think that Dillian Whyte, whatever it is he's experienced and whatever it is he's deserved, I don't think it trumps an Undisputed fight, right? The real part of it is, if you are making more money in a fight than in fight A than you would in fight B, then it's hard for me to say that you're ducking fighter B, right? So the stakes, it's just a bigger fight. So if it's Undisputed, then they need to figure it out. I don't think franchise champ gets you there. I think you can just go ahead and say, we live in a COVID environment. Sorry, shit runs downhill. It's affected everybody. Undisputed trumps mandatory. I don't think you need to really go any further than that.
Yeah, so if he goes from Wilder to AJ, that's not my issue. My issue is that, and to Mark's point about the 5-fight deal on the contract, that doesn't actually reflect what would happen, because we know what they're going to want to do, and the smart thing to do is to do the Wilder fight for Fury, right? Fury and Top Rank to do the Wilder fight and 2 AJ fights. So where my issue comes from is the idea that they're going to have a Deontay Wilder rematch, an AJ first fight, and an AJ rematch, regardless of the result, while Dillian Whyte is basically sitting there at the interim championship, which essentially means nothing because the WBC have let us know that they're going to sanction 3 bouts before letting the mandatory that they've proclaimed actually get his mandatory shot. So to me, if he fights AJ and then fights Whyte or fights AJ again, I mean, that's fine. I don't even think that mandatory trumps undisputed. The issue is that if he elevates himself to WBC franchise status, is it still undisputed? Because AJ can't take the franchise status as far as we know, and they're going to want to do a rematch, which would then shut down the idea of the fight 5 deal being the issue, because then he's up for grabs, right? And if Top Rank really wanted that money fight,
if they were to do the rematch, there's probably like something in the contract for the undisputed fight on a 2-fight deal to say that they'd be promoting him for that fight or something.
In that case,
it becomes a bigger fight, and then he could potentially be fighting for undisputed just in his mandatory slot. But then you also have Usyk, who may be wanting a bite of that same apple. I don't know how you figure it all out, but when it comes to just Dillian Whyte himself, I think it's nothing but really good news. Really, because even if he doesn't get his appeal, he still garners public sympathy, and he's fighting good enough fights that are intriguing enough also that he won't lose cachet. So I mean, and he'll still continue to make money. So it's just really about it's really about just when he get his shot, not if.
Possibly, right?
I mean,
if he loses, then he probably won't get. Yeah. If he loses, he won't get a shot. Like, I don't think we can see a situation where he beats Povetkin, and then let's say I saw someone introduce the idea of an undisputed or unified mandatory, and that's not what it really would be, but it was the idea that after the Deontay Wilder and Pulev fight, those two would meet each other 2 times, AJ and Fury, right, being the presumed winners, the favorites to win those 2 matchups, and then Usyk and Whyte would get together and they would fight, and essentially the winner of that becomes mandatory for the winner of AJ Fury 2. I guess the rematch, right?
That's a perfect world situation.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect world situation where we get to see everything that we want to. But
so who's promoting this? Don King?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how is this gonna happen?
It's actually a function of these guys are the top ranked guys in multiple sanctioning bodies. Not multiple, like, you got the WBO guys and you got the WBC. And no, Dillian Whyte isn't in the WBO anymore, but he was highly ranked in the WBO before he got the interim championship.
He was actually in the top. He was in the top 3 of all 4 sanctioning bodies before he got the interim title.
Right. So then you got Usyk doing his, WBO, exercising his WBO privilege,
super champions privilege.
Right. And then AJ's got Pulev next. There's no issues. Like, just do right. Whyte Usyk. If Fury dusts off Wilder, should that happen, and AJ dusts off Pulev, if that happens, then definitely Whyte fighting Usyk ties up things very nicely. And then we can see if Big Baby Miller has anything left in the tank, or the Brazils of the world, or the Ruizes of the world, or whatever.
For me, I don't really, not that I don't care, but I just don't see Brazil actually making a legitimate run at title contention. To me, the guys that are more interesting in that would be like an Andy Ruiz, right? So the top contenders, in my opinion, no specific order, and I know he's an interim champion, but Dillian Whyte, then it would be Alexander Usyk, Andy Ruiz, I think maybe even Michael Hunter, right? And then there's kind of the people right below him who maybe won't become champions, but will give champions good fights, like Povetkin, Ortiz, and those types of fighters.
This is outside of the prospects coming true, right?
Yeah, this is outside of the
apparently it's outside Robert the Druid Hellenius too. Like, what? How are you just gonna gloss over him knocking out Kovnowski, who was everybody's guy, just like a second ago?
What did you call him? Robert the what?
Isn't he the Nordic Nightmare?
Yeah, Robert the Nordic Nightmare. Hellenius.
He called him the George or something. Yeah, I mean, the great Kovnatski win. Did we forget he got knocked out by Gerald Washington like right before that? I don't think he makes. Maybe he can beat Manuel Char if that's what you're saying and become a champion.
To be
But
fair, we're ruling out the key guy in all of this.
who's that?
That's Prince Charles Martin.
You know what? Yeah, actually, I didn't get it quite finished, but there's the contenders, and then there's the champions, and then there's those who have been blocked from becoming a champion because the promotional companies fear them, and those are two guys, which is Charles Martin and Lucas Brown, as you know.
Well, Charles Martin is a Jedi.
I failed to consider that.
And he's a waif god.
There you go.
And he's a former world champion.
Yes, a very legitimate championship status as well as Jedi apprenticeship that he completed.
Right, he used the Force to shatter the ankle of Glasgow.
Precisely. That is exactly what happened.
No, but yo, get the smoke. Why is this guy not paying homage to Charles Martin? Charles Martin's a legit contender.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think Charles Martin's a fine name on a guy's resume, right? He's a former champion. Gerald Washington that showed up was absolutely abysmal, but he did the job.
I disagree. I think
losing
Charles
to
Martin
doesn't look so good, but it was a good fight.
I think he made Charles Martin. I think Charles Martin made Gerald Washington look bad.
He made him look regular. He made him look regular. It's how talented he is.
No. The issue was, why did he look scared? That was my issue. Like, why the hell was he so tentative?
Southpaw, bro.
Southpaw,
right? Okay.
He was in there with the Southpaw.
From what I don't know if it, because I didn't look into it. I heard someone say that's the only Southpaw he's ever fought.
Yeah, I mean, he looked absolutely terrible, especially coming off that his last knockout victory, right? And then I was expecting a much different Gerald Washington than what I actually saw against Charles Martin. But I'm not going to take I'm not going to take anything from Charles Martin, right? So he did the job, like I said. He is a former champion. He still is a good name. I don't expect Dillian Whyte to give Charles Martin to give Dillian Whyte much trouble. I'd expect Dillian Whyte to knock him out.
Oh no, bro.
You would. I thought you said the other day that you wouldn't be surprised if he did get knocked out.
I mean,
Charles Martin? By Charles Martin? I never said that. By Charles Martin?
What was that? What was that you were saying about?
I have a theory.
No, like Charles Martin got a belt off of another guy getting an ankle sprain.
No, hold on. Charles Martin's a Jedi, and he used the Force to shatter his ankle, bro.
Yeah, Smoke. I don't think you maybe you forgot, you didn't watch it live, but he distinctly brought out his gloves and squeezed them at his ankles, and then suddenly an injury occurred. So make that what you will,
Yeah,
it's something like that. What you guys said. That's what my point is.
I have a conspiracy theory that Charles Martin is legitimately a genius. And let me explain to you why. Charles Martin became the world champion through an injury, and he gave that belt to Joshua knowing that would make Joshua a superstar for $7 million. And he knew that he was so good he could come back along, work his way back up to mandatory by shocking everybody, and then doing something that nobody would expect and becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. Mark it down. It's going to happen.
And you know what? He actually he accounted for people calling it a fluke. So he recently demanded the guy he pumped up, which is Anthony Joshua. He said, "Vacate your title, champion. I want you to vacate your title so that I can fight Pulev for it." That's the exact the fighter mentality. You ask champions to vacate their titles so that you can fight for it rather than challenging them. He's so smart.
I would definitely say that he has better ankles than that guy he fought for the vacant IBF after Tyson Fury vacated. But the flip side to that is that he definitely had a war with Adam Kovnowski that he lost in 10 rounds. And
Nah, bro.
yeah,
bro. Go recap, bro.
Recap.
Oh, recap. It's a recap time.
Go recap.
That was
bro.
a robbery, bro.
A robbery, bro.
No, factual robbery. We don't deal with robberies. We only deal with factual robberies over here.
That was a
Factual robbery, bro. Go
factual,
recap. Factual facts.
Factual gift decision to Adam Kovnowski. Go recap, please.
Actually, to be honest,
Listen. Also, I will say that and this is no slight to AJ at all. But I did feel like the fight was stopped early. I felt like that Charles Martin could continue on. I felt like Charles Martin could continue on, and he wasn't that hurt.
I think Charles Martin was playing possum with him, get him to overextend so he could knock him out, but the referee didn't give him the opportunity. Like, why didn't that referee do what the referee did when Luis Ortiz fought against Malik Scott? You remember when Luis Ortiz dropped Malik Scott and Malik Scott was on the ground and he got to a count of 9 and he looked at him and he said, "No, get up, you're fine." And he lifted him off the ground.
No, I mean, did you see that body shot that Monster hit Nonito Donaire with? And Nonito went in to close the deal, and then the ref literally got in the way and let Nonito take a walk and then take a knee.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. My favorite thing about that was once he took the knee, that counts at a count of 11, by the way. Like, from when the referee starts counting. You know?
A count of 11 or a 10-second or 11 seconds?
No, an actual count of 11, because if you do the referee's actual count and time his count, so 1, 2, like that, his actual count. He got to 9, right? He stopped counting. If you keep going on that exact same rhythm he's going on, it got to 11.
Yeah. That moment was very awkward. Another one, I mean, that one I didn't really get mad at because I was happy to watch more of the fight. But one I did actually, like, I remember at the time yelling at my TV at the ref was the Derevianchenko versus Triple G. When he hurts Triple G to the body and then Triple G kind of starts, like, rotating weirdly. Like, he starts backing up, but it's like very sharp turns while he's backing up. Yes. And then the ref just basically he takes Triple G falling back into his loving arms, and nothing happened. Like, there was no down, he stopped.
Still not as funny as Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker, where Dillian Whyte was fucking pulling the referee's pants down to try and stay on his feet. Now that was fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one, or the part where Dillian Whyte used his famous left headbutt to drop Parker,
yes.
And then the ref saw the sweat off of both of their heads fly upon contact and said, "You know what? That's a down."
Referee thought they both landed a hook.
Yeah, no, it is what I recently have come to be sensitized to was that it was a head-butt shoulder combination. I've seen now the slow-mo camera. And it's not just a headbutt. And he follows it up with his shoulder to ensure that he goes down.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Can I say something though? Like, I actually thought it was a legit shot when I saw it first, like in person. Like when I was there, I did, and I was from near the angle outside of where the ref was. So like, it kind of looked like it was a punch, but it wasn't. I thought it was a punch.
We were reviewing the footage the other day, Mark, for context, and I was trying to show, we have Tony's reviews. I'll plug him in the description. He's a cool guy, but he is a advocate for Dillian Whyte, we'll say, and he was insisting. The first live I went on him, where I met him, it was essentially he was arguing that AJ is not as strong as we think he is, and that Dillian Whyte did legitimately drop Parker with a punch. So I hopped on his panel and I was screen sharing.
He did legitimately drop him with a punch after the headbutt.
After the headbutt, yeah. So he said the second round down, he said that was 2 legitimate knockdowns. And I said, okay, may I have a link? And he said, okay. And I jumped on his channel and we reviewed the footage. And sure enough, it's a clear headbutt. It's Dillian Whyte's forehead, like the top of his forehead, the hardest part of his skull, right? Clashing with the side of Joseph Parker's temple. So it's a very clear headbutt, and he agreed with me on that. But as we're watching the slow motion footage, he was insisting, well, actually, if you look, I do believe it's an accidental headbutt, by the way, right? He said if you look closely, Dillian Whyte's left hand actually goes under Parker's right hand, and he may have gotten a good chin punch after that. So he dropped him because of the chin punch and not the headbutt. And then we had this discussion again yesterday on my channel, and on that live, he was again insisting it was a headbutt into punch combination instead of the combination I'm talking about, which is the headbutt into shoulder bash. And somehow the punch going after the headbutt was supposed to legitimize the knockdown. But if you could tell us your thoughts on the headbutt punch combination, what do you think about dropping your opponents like that?
I think it's very fucking illegal.
Yeah, it's extremely illegal.
See, I think if you headbutt a guy in the fucking side of his temple, it's a disqualifiable effect.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
I mean, you headbutt the guy and then you land the punch, right? I'm just gonna say this. That's not a legit knockdown.
Yeah, short left.
That delegitimizes being knocked down by a punch when you've been headbutted at the same time.
A short left hook, you don't count short, compact, powerful Dillian Whyte, the wolf left hooks.
Actually, I'll be honest with you. I think he's got one of the best short left hooks in the game on the check.
He does.
I really do.
That is his punch. It is to me, it stands out in the division. And it is the thing that makes Dillian Whyte stand out in the division. It's just that how do you get a guy to actually be close enough to Dillian Whyte to make that shot be effective? And I've also seen him land that shot and it not really do anything. But
you know what the other thing
good.
that gets me? Do you know what really gets me? How Dillian Whyte has gone from being a pocket fighter to being a range boxer, right? This is what gets to me when his money punches the short left hook.
Yeah.
Like, why are you taking away your biggest weapon?
I don't know. Yeah, you saw him jabbing, trying to basically outbox Rivas, right?
That was fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
But that's fine because Rivas can only really work if he's sucking on your titty and like punching you in the face, right? At the same time.
Yeah.
So, like, range works on Rivas.
Yeah, it's good. He's adding a wrinkle to his game, but you're right. It's kind of counterintuitive almost. It's still useful. I mean, you don't want to hard rely on one strategy, especially a short left hook. But yeah,
I'll be honest though. Dillian's actually quite decent. Like, I'm not going to say he's amazing or anything. I'm just saying he's rounded considering how limited he is. He's got a good jab. He's got a good hook. He can, even though he's got slow ass feet, he can fight on the back foot. Most heavyweights can't.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he is pretty well rounded. I think all I was talking.
That was so diplomatic. I do think he's pretty well rounded.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I feel like people
add a couple more qualifiers on well rounded, please.
Well, if you saw his fight with Marius Vach, you saw his midsection was very well rounded. But yeah, I think he has pretty good tools, all things considering.
Do you guys actually hold the Vach fight against him, considering he had 7 days, 8 days notice?
To me, it was kind of like I don't big that fight up. I don't really talk it down. To me, he was just fighting when he didn't really need to. So I applauded. Actually, I think he just gets a little like I raised my glass, and that's
I know what Smoke's gonna say. Well, Smoke's probably. Well, I don't. I'm gonna tell.
He's charging it up right now.
I'll tell you this. I have no faith in fat fighters. And alliteration, totally. That's what it is. Like fat fighters, you can forget about it. Just like Ryan Garcia is a model fighter. That guy's a fat fighter. Like, what do you want? The guy's not focused between fights.
Hey, to be fair, do you know who else was a model fighter? Oscar.
No, yeah, but the thing is, Oscar fought everybody, the other thing was, Oscar came into the game debuting, getting that money.
Yeah, he was like
Golden
an
boy.
Olympian, right? As to where Ryan Garcia is a Instagram and Twitter unified champion.
Bro, Oscar wasn't just an Olympian. Think of his name.
And he was a golden boy. Yeah, exactly.
Golden boy. Fucking Oscar had a very good amateur background, and then, bro, how quick did that dude become a world champ? Like, even if it's WBO or whatever, he got recognized fast.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that him being a WBO champion, indirectly or not, may have helped the WBO championship be recognized sooner. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy how it didn't get recognized quickly, considering its first champion was Tommy fucking Hearns.
Yeah, I mean, Smoke likes to talk about when the title was a recognized championship a lot, but to me, those fighters back then kind of made the title it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue really is just how many there were so fast, right? So it was just a long time when there was just a couple, and then all of a sudden there was two more. Like it doubled. It expanded 100%, and then those guys started filtering off other belts, and then it just became like really weird for TV contracts, right? Because that's really what it was about. It was about championship fights on TV. So the sanctioning body just came up with more belts. And now, like, fans are validating all that with like unifications. Like, it's really just the same fucking circle jerk. Like, really, what the problem is, the guys don't fight each other in any of the sanctioning bodies. So, what does it matter?
You know what, Smoke? You can go, Mark.
I'll tell you what it matters. Right? It matters a lot because without that type of stuff, we'd be arguing over actually nothing. We need the titles there to argue about something because the fighters aren't fighting each other anyway. So, we spend most of our time arguing about fights that aren't happening. We might as well argue about the belts.
Right, but the issue is we could not be arguing and just enjoying the guys fighting each other for like in fewer belts. But maybe there's more fighters. I don't know I don't know that we need more sanctioning bodies since the guys within each individual sanctioning body aren't even fighting each other within the top 10, top 15. So why do you need 4 examples of this?
Well, I have an easy way of doing it. What we could have, okay, is we could have 15 sanctioning bodies.
I'm down.
Right, just hear me out. This is the most radical way ever of doing this. But we have 15 sanctioning bodies, yeah? That right there is the top 15 in the division. Once we have all 15 with a champion, a tournament starts. That's it. There you go. There you go. It's done.
I would be down for that, but then you would get Lermal Barlow, right? Lermal Barlow and his twin brother, Lermel Barlow. Those two guys would opt out of the tournament. They would opt out of the tournament, right? And then you would get Demetrius Bondrade, and that guy would go, you know what? I like this promotional deal better. I'm not going to fight any current or former world champions in my career. And then, you would get that mess. And the PZC champion is not really, he doesn't care about the LOP champion. So they don't like fighting together, Mark.
This motherfucker.
See, it really is that boxing, for good or for bad, is the purest form of capitalism that we have in sports. So what these actual events are live event one-offs in order to make as much money as you can off that event. Right? It's not a league. It's not a tournament. It's not any of this shit. It's really like, how much money can I make on this event on this night?
Yeah, you're right. I think it's very due in part because it's a 1-versus-1 sport, and these guys are not able to fight every Saturday, obviously, because there's a physical part of it where your body needs to recover. You need time to prepare, and that's why it won't really. I mean, it doesn't work like the NBA, NFL, right? These guys are commissioned. There's a sport. There's basically people telling them, okay, you're gonna go against this team, and it was like Dee was talking about earlier how. Imagine if one team was supposed to go against another team in the playoffs, and they go, actually, Team C, they had more views, they make more money, we're going to go against them instead. But in boxing, you can do that, and that's the norm. That is what's expected. That's actually ideal for the fighters, obviously, because they make more money.
I talked about that about
there's
6
always an
months ago.
incentive. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rival.
No, go ahead. I was just saying I talked about that about 6 months ago with Beats and Mr. Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always, no matter, like, to me, the best thing going, like one of the best ideas going, if not the best idea going, is the World Boxing Super Series. However, even in the World Boxing Super Series, it still behooves you to stay outside of it and just beat the guy who wins the whole thing, right? if you're that guy, or like another thing that I love, like people call me PBC defender and all this shit. Like one of the things I love about the PBC is free fights. What that breeds, though, is guys who are just going to be corporate cookie cutters that won't go outside of, the status quo or the mainstream, whatever it is that they can sell the most to the most people, right? But even within that model, you'll still get the one guy who's like the most outspoken, or the one individual. I won't say guy because, whatever, it's the world we live in. The one individual who is willing to be themselves, and that person can also clean up even in that environment.
Yeah, I mean, the PBC being free is definitely a big appeal to it, but it also becomes an issue, and they also use the pay-per-view model, because what ends up happening is that the actual big fights, and the better fights, I would want to say, they'll end up on pay-per-view instead of free TV, which kind of defeats the point. But I do understand why you like PBC.
Well, the issue, right? So, like I was saying, boxing is still the purest form of a capitalism that we have, and what we have in the 21st century is streaming. And so even while things are on pay-per-view, and you may get a few people who watch pay-per-view, but if you watch the amount of people who just watch the fight because they can just watch the fight without paying for it, you'll see that those numbers are exponentially larger than the people who are actually paying for the fights.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. You even had in the Wilder Fury 2 pay-per-view, they were saying that they had some people were watching on live TV and they had a stream available, and they said that the pay-per-view numbers, I mean, they were really good, especially for now, but they said the pay-per-view numbers were not what they expected. They wanted a little more, and the streaming numbers were much higher than they expected, so that kind of speaks to your point there, Smoke.
Yeah, streaming numbers are huge.
Yeah, sign of the times, man. Like, and that's the thing about casuals. Maybe anyway, there's a lot of what goes into the psyche of the way that consumers buy things and even just experience content, right? So yeah, I mean, that is just what it is. It's if you don't like the guys, but it's still an event or something you want to see, then you just stream it. But if you actually are personally invested in the combatants, then you are more likely to actually open up your wallet and spend, right?
Well, yeah.
I couldn't actually pay for the fight over here because in Ireland, for some reason, you can't do BT Sport anymore. If you're with Virgin Media, the only way you can do it is if you're with Sky, I think. So I ended up paying for the fight a different way. I'm sure Smoke would like to hear
how. I'm definitely interested for a variety of reasons, but go ahead.
Yeah, I bought Wilder merch.
You bought Wilder merch? And so you funded the NAACP. What kind of merch was it? Was it Till This Day merch? And was it red? Was it the red hoodie?
It wasn't a red hoodie. It was a Broad Bobber hoodie.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that sounds kind of nice. I don't have any Deontay Wilder merch myself, but I have actually paid for 2 of his pay-per-views. Like I said, I like actually Tyson Fury in the ring, but and yeah, so I like Deontay Wilder, but I don't like Deontay Wilder enough and I don't like Luis Ortiz enough to pay for that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, my reason for it is, one, I couldn't pay for the pay-per-view, which I always do. My second reason was I got to make a fucking bet on the fight, and my bet is gonna be I will do a face reveal wearing a Bronze Bomber hoodie if Wilder knocks out Fury in the fifth.
That's pretty good.
You know what? I think that you are picking up on a very what is it? Something that I think everybody would like to experience. I think people are definitely in the mood to experience your face.
Yeah, so the only unfortunate thing about that, Mark,
You're
is I
such
really
an
love
asshole, Smoke, I swear.
is I really love the idea of doing a face reveal while wearing Bronze Bomber merch, but you've put it behind an impossible wall, which is that Wilder will never knock out Tyson Fury, so unfortunately it's never going to happen. I mean, if you could say something like Tyson Fury says something stupid online, or Dillian Whyte cries about the WBC, or Ryan Garcia cries about money, or Tyson Fury beats Wilder, then then we might see a face reveal, but you've put it behind
I
something
don't
that'll
think I
never
put it
happen.
behind the possible wall at all. I don't think
Yeah,
it's an
and
impossible
man,
wall.
you have to understand. We're talking about the theater of the unexpected. Who thought that that Ruiz was going to do what he did to AJ? Like, my neighbors got I got complaints. Like, my sons and I, we were going bananas when this whole thing was going down. I love boxing for just stuff like this. Did you think that Fury was going to do that to Wilder? Of
Yes.
course not. People were going bananas for it.
Mark
People were
legitimately
going
did.
absolutely bananas for it. But I mean, so whatever. All I'm saying is we hadn't seen it, so we were there when it happened. We saw the blood spurting out the ears. We saw the legs go. Like, we saw all of that, and it was for me, I just want to see the fights happen. I'm not going to prejudge it. We can get all into the predictions after it, but really, I just want to be there.
Yeah, and I was kind of just trying to have a jab at you, Smoke, there with the Wilder thing. It's technically possible. I don't think it'll happen, but yeah, to your point with the Reese AJ thing, I know I didn't expect Reese to win. I was rooting for him to win, and it was a moment at my my family's house, and we're all just having a barbecue randomly that day, and I tell him, like, hey, there's this big heavyweight fight. This guy is the champion. He has 3 of the belts. He's very established. And then there's Reese, and he's a late replacement, and he's a little chubby, right? But I'm just trying to sell him on the fight, basically. And they're sitting down. They're like, I don't know about this, man, but we'll watch. And we're tuning in.
Do you know how I sold it to my friends?
How did you sell it?
I told them it was an AJ versus a dude who has really fast hands.
Oh, yeah, that's
Not
good.
a dude
Yeah,
who's a little chubby.
Yeah, no. Because, well, they turned on the TV, right? And then they saw the walkout, and they go, hey, you didn't mention that he was really chubby. And I was like, look, he's lost in the past once before, and it was against a guy who, it was a championship fight, and many people felt he won, and he's got really fast hands, so don't let his looks deceive you. And they're like, okay, well, sit down. And by the 3rd round, it starts, and they're like still watching, but they're not like, invested. And Reese gets dropped, and everyone in my house lets out essentially just like a groan, and they're like, really, you sat us down to watch this? And I'm like, dang it, I fed him a fight they weren't happy with, but whatever. I guess that sucks. I was hoping Reese would be able to do something, and as these thoughts are going through my mind, he slips the punch and counters him with 2 right hooks, and he wobbles AJ, and everyone in the house goes silent. We're like, whoa, what's going on? And then he starts pummeling him, and he drops him. And at this point, whether or not anyone in my family cared, I was now jumping up and down. I was freaking out. And by the end of the 3rd round, he knocked him down again. Everyone is jumping up and down, freaking out, jumping on the couches, screaming at the top of our lungs like crazy maniacs. And the
I had so I said I had my sons over, but they had their friends. I was 15 people in my, like, for real, dude. It was raucous. It was so much fun, and part of the fun was the unexpected thing, like all the trauma and the build up, the emotional tension that was built up between this whole undisputed thing, and it just spilled over. It was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. And all of the stuff that we think it's scripted, and sometimes it varies, and most of the times it is. It feels like wrestling, and it's just as predictable as wrestling. But then you get these moments where it just, these flashes where life happens, and I live for them.
Yeah. And then we have after the third round exactly what you're saying, where now everyone went from do I want to watch this fight to I really want this guy to win, right? And I would consider myself an AJ fan, but I don't know, man. Something in me that day, I was really just rooting for him to lose for some reason. And the next rounds were just very quiet and like like we're all just waiting there silently, ready to essentially boil over and explode. And that's exactly what happens in the seventh round when he drops him again, and he drops him a fourth time, and AJ's in the corner, and he's kind of like, okay, yeah, like I'll go out. And he's like, all right, well, come to me. And AJ's still chilling on the ropes, got a little too comfortable, trying to buy some time. And they called it off, and that was just like a huge explosion of energy. So, to your point, I don't want to count out Wilder.
And just for me, and just to go along with my household, like we became AJ fans when he fought Klitschko, right? So my household was were AJ fans to begin with, regardless of whatever goodwill he may have lost during the negotiation for Undisputed. Everyone in my house has still seen every AJ fight since the Klitschko fight, right?
Yeah.
So we're still watching the guy fight. I didn't think that he would fight that fight. I didn't think that he would actually engage with Ruiz the way that he engaged with Ruiz. So I thought that would be a bad idea to begin with. The way he fought the rematch is how I thought he would fight the first fight, right? So like the fact that he went there, I appreciate AJ, right? I realize that it didn't turn out for him the way he didn't get the result, but I also appreciate the fact that that's what he tried to do. He tried to go out, press the gas, give us something exciting, and got clipped. And he kept trying and kept getting fucked up. So anyway, his stuff, he may not got the result, but yeah, it was cool. AJ's all right in my book.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big moment, Mark. You were here live when Smoke finally unveiled his undying love for Anthony Joshua. It's a very big moment for everyone watching.
He's thick-eyed,
Yeah.
I mean, afterwards, I'm gonna go back on the stream and I'm gonna screen record it and upload it to my channel.
Yeah, that's fine. It's perfect.
I have to. I'm sorry, Smoke. I need to upload your love for Anthony.
No, you know me, man. I love a good Klitschko knockout. You know how I roll.
Oh, you know what? I didn't actually factor that. He is the man to knock out Klitschko, so I'm sure you're.
No. He is a man who knocked out Klitschko.
He's the man to knock out Klitschko after his reign.
Man, Klitschko getting off the canvas is, to me, still tickles me. No matter who it is. Like, that's the thing.
You don't like Klitschko at all, do you?
No, I hate the way that people did. Like, listen, I had to do a 3-hour screaming match over Undisputed. I mean, not Undisputed, over Unified. And for me, the only time Unified became a thing was because out of Vladimir Klitschko. Never before were people talking about Unified champion. Who gave a fuck? The only reason why it became about Vlad because he couldn't fight Vitaly. And anyway, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just saying, yeah, the whole thing is really fucking annoying.
Smoke, I have a question for you. And obviously, I mean, we don't give guys credit for things they haven't done. But let's say Vitaly said a little earlier than he did, like, you know what? I'm good with this boxing stuff. I'm going to let my brother try to go undisputed now. Do you think he could, do you think he would have been undisputed? Not that we give him credit for that, obviously, right? But do you think he would have been?
Maybe. I mean, that to me, that's a separate issue, and it's not really about Vladimir Klitschko. And that's the other part of it, is actually that I don't have any sort of animosity towards Vladimir Klitschko himself. It's just what it did to boxing. And now, like, we're still living in this whole thing where it's the unification, not undisputed, that's a thing. Like, it wasn't until him, in my experience of boxing, where being a unified champion meant anything. It's that guy who made unified champion mean anything. And he was not fighting guys for me to validate unified champion meaning anything.
I mean, for me, growing up, it meant something.
Yeah, me as well. But I mean, obviously, this is like, different generations, I guess.
I mean, before, like, when did Vlad become a unified champion? I'm pretty sure I remember hearing Floyd was a unified champion multiple times before that.
I hear people
It,
saying
it, it,
Manny's
it,
not a unified champion.
it was the David Haye fight.
Yeah. So, 08.
Yeah.
Jesus
And really,
Christ.
it was because before that, it was undisputed, right? Because 2 belts is what it took to be undisputed. So unified was undisputed. And then the IBF came in, but the IBF, it took a while for the IBF to take. It was a gladiator division, and they had some great guys in it, but that took a while to take hold also. And then the WBO came right on top of it. Anyway, it's just a whole thing. But it's just it's my own experience. It doesn't have to be everybody's experience.
Yeah.
It's just for me, and I'm saying that's my.
I guess you could say so a heavyweight. I just mean other divisions. I heard unified champs a lot. Like, I remember hearing with David Haye, unified cruiserweight champion of the world.
Yeah, and that's a big deal for him.
Yeah, see, I remember Undisputed, right? And that was the thing. I remember Undisputed Holyfield, Undisputed Muhammad Ali, Undisputed Mike Tyson, Undisputed. Like, it wasn't unified. That just wasn't a thing.
I feel like I personally hold unified to a much higher level. Like when you say I said undisputed to a much higher level. Like when you say undisputed Mike Tyson, undisputed Ali, right? These things mean
That
more to me
carries
than it carries a lot of weight. More than unified Jason Rosario, right? Like no disrespect to Jason Rosario.
Unified Akhmadaliev.
Yeah, exactly. Like especially guys who beat guys.
That's what I'm saying. It's like even if you get some undisputed guys, it was undisputed Jermaine Taylor. So if like undisputed Jermaine Taylor isn't doing it, like what is unified so and so do? Like unified, Canelo Alvarez was unified when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Like he's still a child, right? No one's saying he was the prime of his career. Like I don't know, whatever. But people have their thing. People have their thing, and I'm not mad at it because it's not. Depending on who it is, the two fighters are. Depending on the champions who are doing the unification, I actually also get into unified, but it's just circumstantial.
Would you get into a unified title fight between Beterbiev and Bivol?
Definitely.
Okay.
And also like. But yeah, like Pacquiao, Thurman, fine. Like it's just depend. Like I'm not super.
That was a regular super unification, but I don't even
count that. Even then, that's
no. Sorry. I didn't mean Thurman. Sorry, I didn't mean Thurman. I meant Crawford. I meant Pacquiao Crawford.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen because Bob Arum said that Crawford's next 4 opponents is either they're looking at Kell Brook, Yordenis Ugas, Keith Thurman, or Sean Porter.
He said if the Pacquiao fight doesn't happen, this is the guy that
he said it won't happen. He said if it don't happen, but it won't happen next.
No, I know. None of those fights are going to happen except for Kell Brook. He just named a bunch of guys that we want to see fight that aren't Kell Brook, right? But the fight we're going to see is Kell Brook.
Outside of Kell Brook, the only one of them I think that could possibly happen could be Yordenis, because I think to some extent he could be deemed kind of expendable to some extent, but good enough to possibly wrestle the belt back, and he's not a high money maker or earner. I think Yordenis could be looked that kind of like the way the Derevianchenko was.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Also, Crawford's team has been trying to fight Ugas for, before Benavidez, somewhere around there. Like Bomac has openly tried to fight Ugas. So yeah, but the issue I think a little bit is Ugas is a little bit higher risk than he is reward. So Kell Brook, to me, it goes right back to Kell Brook.
Yeah, I think Ugas, like people really write him off, but I like him.
I'd love to see that fight though, Terence Crawford and Ugas. Like if we're not getting the unification, I'd love that fight. That's a great fight.
Me too.
Yeah, I think everybody but Kell Brook is a good fight for Terence Crawford. That's why I think it's going to be Kell Brook, because every other one, whether it's Porter, Thurman, Ugas, or Pacquiao, like those are often good, cool. Sign me up. Kell Brook.
Ask you a question,
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about that one.
If Crawford beat Kell Brook, would Terence Crawford be the first person to beat both Amir Khan and Kell Brook? Say it ain't so.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like his career. Funny. Wait, it's not. I'd like to have a serious career, not a funny career.
Wait. Whose career is funny? Whose career is funny?
The guy, no, just stats like that. Like
Okay.
right now, we're dealing with like the guy is undisputed at 140 with one of the weirdest kind of runs to undisputed that there is.
I
Like
don't
kind of,
think it's a
I don't know.
weird run. I think it's one of the worst runs.
Yeah, there it is. I was being more diplomatic, right? So
It was
that's what
a
I'm saying.
not so great run, you guys are saying.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't have good wins before he got to 140. He had like a couple of good fights. He had he undisputed at 147 has been kind of lackluster when it comes to the opponents that he's had. Not the
140.
results and what he's done, but just the opponents. So yeah, I'm not. I don't think that it's funny time for him. I think he needs to grow the fuck up. I don't think it's time for him to have comic strip fights.
So I think
like
what's
punchline
especially
fights and shit like that. Like, yeah, it's time for it to get serious. And like, yeah, throw out Kell Brook because of all of those guys. I expect Terrence Crawford to stop him.
I
None
think,
of those other guys do I expect Terrence Crawford to stop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say that, but I think the unfortunate thing for Terrence Crawford is he truly has been just doing his best to, become a champion, beat other champions, fight other champions. But like shortly after he leaves the division, a new breath of talent comes in that makes it a much stronger division. You know what I mean?
Quite sad, actually. Look, I'm just saying. If he had have stuck around there and he had the looks of Josh Taylor, Ramirez, Prograis on his resume, he'd be looking to have a hell of a lot better on that resume right now, wouldn't he?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
hey, if he had got the Pacquiao fight years ago or at some point, right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, he'd be there. But yeah, if ifs were the fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Yeah. Do you guys think that the Horn Pacquiao fight was purposefully fixed so that the guy who beat Pacquiao loses to Crawford, or do you think that was just a bad decision?
I think it was absolutely devastating for the relationship between Pacquiao and Bob Arum, as it should be. I don't know if it's a fix or whatever it is, but there's something funky about sending Manny Pacquiao to Australia.
Well, wasn't it he couldn't be in the U.S. due to like taxes or something like that? Like he couldn't find the U.S. due to some tax issues.
I mean, Manny Pacquiao fought against
I've,
Lucas Matisse in Malaysia. Why didn't he fight Jeff Horn in Malaysia? Why'd they send him down to play Wizard of Oz and the man behind the curtain calling off the judges' scorecards?
Yeah. I mean, especially just with the way I think like Al Heyman's helping him out with his taxes or something, but the way those fights kind of went down, not in the U.S., especially since he's such a big star, it is kind of strange to try to feed him to a guy like Jeff Horn just to get beat up by Crawford. And then really quickly, before anyone else says something, I'm reading the article here right now about the 4 people that he may fight if the Pacquiao fight does not come to fruition. There's a funny quote here from Bob Arum on the topic of funny stuff. He says, they're working with Al Heyman's company, PBC, but they're working well together with that company, so I don't think there'll be a problem making the fight. That is just hilarious. The idea of Bob Arum saying that they're working just absolutely peachy with PBC is
And working peach. Hold on. Things went pretty smoothly last time out, Fury Wilder. But what I will say is that's not the thing that's bothering me. The thing that's bothering me is that they're working smoothly in regards to Manny being willing to fight with Bob. I just can't see that shit, man.
Yeah,
that relationship.
It's so smoothly that they not only have a plan B, but a plan C, D,
D.
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
They have one plan. They have one plan, and it starts with the letter K. They have plan
Special K.
Special K. Bro.
Exactly. The chocolate brownie, baby. The chocolate brownie in the oven.
Yo, Ed there, give me Crawford.
Oh my Lord. I wish he never took that Triple G fight.
I just wish he'd never talk, man. Have you ever listened to that dude speak? Oh my god. Ed there, Babe, listen. I want Canelo, I want Cotto, I want Khan. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh my god. I saw back to the Crawford at 140 thing. I don't know if it was you, Mark, possibly, or just someone else's stream, but they were having a discussion about how Danny Garcia arguably has a better 140 resume than Terrence Crawford, but he does not have better accolades. And I thought that was just that kind of reinforced my idea that he's been pretty just unlucky with 140 being a relatively weak division at the time he became champion, and then shortly after, it's a very strong division now. You know what I mean?
I can assure you that didn't take place on my live stream because primarily I don't really talk very much about Danny Garcia.
Oh yeah, you know what? Now that you say it, yeah, it might have been someone on the panel, but it came down to like, you know what? Danny Garcia may have a better resume, but he doesn't have better accolades, and I thought you could make a genuine argument there, and that sucks for Crawford.
Oh, at 140, he definitely has a better wins at 140 than Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, and just the fact that you can say that about someone who is a unified champion versus an undisputed champion, that's like unfortunate, I think, is just the easy way to put it.
Isn't he the first 4-belt 140-pound champion in history?
I think so.
That wouldn't be Costa Zoo.
Costa 4-belt.
Was Costa 4-belt? I don't know.
I thought it was 3.
You might be right. What year? That's 2000.
Costa was lineal. Costa was lineal. I don't think he was on the.
I think he got the lineal from. He was also undisputed, so new line. But I think he got it from Dab, who was too.
I don't think he ever got the WBO.
Okay, and then what year are we talking?
That would be well. Mark said 4-belt undisputed, so regardless, I think he's correct. But if you want to talk about just undisputed, I think it would be it would be Costa Zoo. Because the WBO wasn't recognized at the time.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. There it is.
Yeah. Well, he was just saying 4-belt undisputed. He had
I just couldn't remember what year that it all blends together, so I couldn't. remember. I remember.
I mean, he was undisputed.
I just couldn't remember his 4-belt.
Yeah, every title, the WBA Super, WBC, IBF, Ring, Lineal, all the good stuff, right? I was gonna ask, do you guys see like in the same way fighters like Tommy Hearns, Oscar gave the WBO some meaning? Do you think we could see the same thing happen with the IBO, given guys like Triple G and Anthony Joshua are currently holding IBO titles?
No. No. Let me get. Hold on. Smoke. Calm down. I'll give you my main reason why. Those guys actually held the WBO as a singular title.
I mean, I think you're severely underestimating the Chris Eubank Jr.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's really what the issue is. Name only an IBO champion.
Chris Eubank Jr.
No, he's not even that. I was at 168. He's at 160.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happened, so.
I mean, that was no. I'm talking about current. I'm talking about a current only IBO champion. That is the issue with the IBO.
What's the question?
Okay, so current champion that only holds the IBO belt.
Sebastian Formella. Yeah, I mean, is
there we go. That's what it is. And now the question is, where would you rank Sebastian Formella in his division?
Top 3 at least.
And nice. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, I think he goes above Spence for me since the car crash.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to work with you, but this is starting to sound like recap. This is starting to
recap.
No, yeah, bro, he's the IBO welterweight Sven Otka, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he can get past what is it? Catsuit Figueroa's brother, then cool. That's Omar Figueroa Jr. for you guys who might be a little bit slow, but yeah, if he can get,
you're being mean to my boy Formella, bro. This dude unbeaten, 22-0, bro. He took the O of Tulani and Benge.
That is a very big win.
Hey, sorry, sorry. I did not mean to disrespect. I didn't mean to disrespect him. Maybe if he could beat Ayubov, maybe if he could go down there and do something against Ayubov, I'd like to. I could.
Let me say
maybe
this.
Figure it out.
Let me say this, right? Tulani and Benge is the welterweight version of Walter Cock and Luckwell.
Wow, that is pretty big. That is big.
Which happens to be Andre's best win at middleweight outside of selection.
Oh no! Oh, don't say it.
It's true though, isn't it?
Andre's never been a current or former world champion. Oh no!
Don't say it. Don't say it like that.
Oh, I like Andre, but just
not middleweight anyway. Fucking super welter he did. Vanes.
Was Vanes ever a world champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, son of the guns, but beating me over the head with Andrade and Charlo, just like, oh my god!
I like
these guys fight people. Like, leave me alone with these two.
I like.
Wait, you're right actually. Off head, yeah, he's never. Wait.
Yeah, when was
he actually
champion?
never actually fucking won a championship.
Well, he's won 2 championships. He's never beat a current or former world champion.
That's not what I said though. I said Vanes was a champion. But no, he wasn't. Vanes wasn't a champion, was he?
No, they were both fighting for. I think Vanes was undefeated at the time for a vacant title. Yeah,
What's the closest he ever got? Jesus Christ! Why do people build Vanes
he ever
up to
got
be some
was
type
fighting
of
Triple G?
Player?
It was the closest he got was fighting Triple G, but basically sucking Triple G.
To be fair, the closest he got was fighting Andrade, mate. That's the closest Vanes got to winning the world. That was a close fight.
Yeah. It was technically a split decision. Didn't really need to be, but it goes down as a split decision. I think, I like Andrade. I've done film study on him. I don't want to bash him, but just this, boogeyman thing, I don't buy into it right now. I'd still like to see him and Charlo fight because I just want to, regardless of the belt, it's cool that it's unification, and that's what I'm going to use to, advocate for it. But really, it's just 2 guys, so I think their styles would mesh well. People are asking for it.
Can I ask a question?
Go.
Right. You know the way Andrade's this boogeyman and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Can you be the boogeyman if you've ducked somebody?
That's the argument, right? So
right, because I don't think if you've ducked somebody, you can be the boogeyman. Because I think he ducked Karatsev.
You can also say he ducked Jermel Charlo. You can also say he ducked Derevianchenko at one point, right?
The reason why I say that fight, though, specifically, is because that was an ordered fight. And they had agreed to it, and then they pulled out because they didn't think there was enough money.
Yeah.
That's why Andy Lee ended up fighting against Karatsev.
And then who won?
Andy Lee.
By knockout, right? So
I just have a quick
damn
question.
Right, he did,
can I have a quick question?
Last time Ireland had anything going for them.
Can I just add a quick question? You were saying that you don't want to say anything. You did film study, and you don't want to say anything bad about Andrade. Was your film study the Luke Keeler fight?
No, I purposefully didn't watch that fight because I think I would have had some very negative thoughts about hurting myself about halfway through. So I watched other fights. But
don't talk about the Luke Keeler fight.
Yeah, who is Luke Keeler?
A guy that definitely should inspire some negative words about Andre.
Mark, let me ask you this question: is Luke Keeler the pride of Ireland? I mean, he had a world title shot, right? So
Hey, hold on. Okay, hold on a second here. Last year, Ireland actually had a world champion until he lost, but we did have one last year.
I mean, that's good. You could make an argument. I mean, really, just like going to DNA that Tyson Fury is part Irish, right?
No, I'm not gonna do that bullshit. Like,
No, we're
I'm
not gonna do it, but you
yeah,
could.
but all I'm gonna say is the pride of Ireland right now is probably John O'Carroll, which ain't great. But that's probably where it is in terms of boxing. That's probably where it is. But to be honest, we do have a pretty good fighter from here. In all honesty, people don't really talk about him much, but TJ Dehaney is a very good fighter.
Yeah, he was a champion. I like Haney. I thought his fight with Roman was very good, and kind of to your thing about Akhmadaliev, even though Akhmadaliev beat Roman, Roman was coming off of an injury, right? And it was a good, very close fight.
Yep.
I don't know how fair of a shake it is to just bump Akhmadaliev to the very top and just say, you know what? Yeah, he's the best of the best. Like, you have an argument to make because he beat the guy who probably had the best claim to the best. But unification fights, I feel, are a little, they're worth more than unified championship fights. You get what I'm saying? Like, J-Rock's win over Jarrett Hurd is a good one, but Rosario's win over J-Rock, it kind of like dilutes it a little bit, and then you have Hurd beating Lara. I mean, that's where that came from. So it's which one is the most valuable one at that rate? Which one's the best win? Because one of them's beating on a decision unified champion, one of them's knocking out a unified champion, and one of them is winning in a unification.
Okay, so I definitely hear your question. And if you don't mind, I'd just like to digress for 1 second and just talk about the Irishman, the proud Irishman that is Tyson Fury. He wraps himself in the flag, right? And he feels like Churchill is the man, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Just back up.
Can we please
yada
stop
yada
this
yada
right now, man?
Just before
Can
you yada
we
yada.
stop this?
like,
Yeah,
let's just not yada yada Tyson Fury's Irish bona fides, right?
No, hold on. Tyson Fury gave up all of his claim to being Irish the day he said he wasn't Irish. I'm not Irish. I have a bit of heritage. I'm English. The day he said that, he fucking pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, I was just joking, but yeah, I'm looking right now, trying to think Irish fighters right now, and I'm seeing undefeated Michael Conlon. Is that the hope?
Oh, he's from fucking Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah.
And then also, by the same token,
he's going to be our next world champion. Let me explain why. Shakur going to move up to 130. That belt's going to go vacant. They're going to put him in there against a bum, just like Shakur fought a bum.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what goes down, and I'm down for it. Whatever. He's entertaining enough, I guess.
Listen, Ryan Garcia refused to fight a bum for $200K.
He wants $500,000 with no crowd. Are you serious?
Yeah, well, interesting fact, Conlon's a much bigger draw than Ryan Garcia.
The fan bases, that's what, I mean, it's
maybe
the people
in
you
boxing,
pull in, right?
though, but not maybe in boxing, but not in whatever the fuck it is that Ryan Garcia actually makes his money in.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, you got to look at Instagram. That's what really matters when you compare boxing resumes and draws. And Ryan Garcia has Michael Conlon licked. I mean, he destroys him. So,
bro, I get more live views on my live streams than Ryan Garcia fucking sells tickets. Fuck out of here.
I mean, it's been a bit. He mainlined a Valentine's Day event, right? But otherwise, he's been on the Canelo undercard. So, how much of the claim to selling out the crowd?
Did you say he headlined the Valentine's Day event?
Yeah, he headlined the Valentine's Day event.
He did. That happened. You didn't know that, Smoke?
Smoke's done. Smoke is done, bro.
Smoke, were you not aware? Were you not made aware of that?
Bro, if he unmutes, he's going to still be laughing, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's laughing now. Were you not
Smoke
made
on
aware?
mute.
You didn't know that, for the maybe lonely people on Valentine's Day, they had a nice Ryan Garcia, Francisco Fonseca knockout. That's when he fought Francisco Fonseca. Was he headlined the event and knocked him out on Valentine's Day? I can't believe you didn't know that.
I don't think he really wanted to know that, to be honest with you.
For all the lonely for all the lonely bachelors, you got a nice Ryan Garcia 1-round knockout. I mean, it's a pretty good deal.
Meanwhile, after the fight, he's got off to pipe some fucking Instagram models.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Arrival. Oh man, I remember. I just had a flashback of hearing Sam Peter was 34 years old. With you like a gun.
Oh yeah, where'd you get that passport, Sam? Where'd you get that passport, Sam? Where did he get that passport? That motherfucker's younger than Povetkin. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's definitely a year younger than Povetkin. That's super official.
Oh, you guys gotta stop. I'm an old man. Oh gosh. Fuck. Ryan Garcia, the Valentine's Day massacre.
Bro, I hope they put him on every Valentine's, because I would love nothing more than for him to step up and take on a legit opponent on Valentine's Day and get absolutely knocked out, bro. That'd be the funniest thing.
Here it is. Look, I'll show you. Wait, did he not headline it? No,
who's at the top of the card?
There's no way Linares fought above him. Did he really?
No, Linares wasn't above him.
Yeah, he's above him here for some reason.
Yeah, but BoxRec does that.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, look, February 14, 2020, Ryan Garcia, Fonseca. It was a Valentine's Day massacre, just like you said. A very stacked card. Blair Cobbs, Jorge Linares. A very big card. Alexis Rocha.
Hold on, you're telling me they had Prince on the card, bro?
Oh my god, Melikuziev was on that card. I completely forgot that.
Yeah, Melikuziev's a beast.
That's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know it was a real deal. These absolute.
That was when he was facing. That was when he was facing that really fucking fat Mexican kid.
Yeah, like this guy.
Yeah.
The absolute threat. 26 years old, young, prime, hungry lion knocked him out in 1 round.
He fucking annihilated him, bro. But Melikuziev can fight.
Yeah, I was telling Smoke earlier, we were going down the Golden Boy stable because we were thinking how extremely top heavy it is and how the top guys at Golden Boy are complaining about Golden Boy. And I didn't actually realize he was a Golden Boy fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he is, yeah. Did you see him fight against Von Alexander, man?
I've been watching some of his fights, and I was telling Smoke I'll send him some because I think he's good.
I think he's better than good. I think he's a future world champion, and I think he's a very impressive talent based on his amateurs, his build. He's with a very good trainer.
Yeah, he's pretty stocky for a super middleweight.
He's very stocky. He might be 5'9", but he's southpaw. He's got very good feet. He's a body puncher, powerful, very good at turning. He dismantled Vaughn, bro.
Yeah, he did.
Like in your fourth fight. Was it his fourth fight? I think it was his fourth fight. Your fourth fight to be doing a 10-rounder with a guy like Von Alexander who gave Anthony Sims very hard work, and you made him look absolutely terrible. I mean, that kid can fight.
I think so too. I think people that do talk about him have the right to talk about him. He's really good.
I haven't tipped. Like I think he's better than Israel, bro. I genuinely think he's the best at this Uzbek wave.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. I can definitely see it. I think he's really good. But yeah, Smoke. So we were going down the list, and Bektimir Melikuziev. I gotta send Smoke some of his fights because he's the real deal.
You should watch him against Von Alexander, Devin Alexander's brother, Smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, does he? Does Von also have a third glove in there in the form of his head?
Well,
Yeah.
Vaughn has an incredible chin, and he's tough as nails, and he's a crafty bastard. Very vicious. Vaughn, come for you.
Yeah, I'll check him out. I'll see what's happening. Just to bring it back, back to the topics of the live. Ryan Garcia is called Oscar De La Hoya a hater.
Yeah, he called him a
Breaking
hater
news.
on Twitter. He literally called his boss a hater, which I think is that's why I wanted to go. Like, Mark, I don't know if you know, it's 3 a.m. here. I decided to go live at like 1 a.m. just because I'm bored and I want to talk about how hilariously ironic it is, or just like, I don't know. I've just never heard someone call their boss a hater. The man writing their paycheck called him a hater.
Now, hey, Floyd definitely did that to Bob, but even at that point, Floyd was a lot more accomplished. He did that with a diamond ring that he bought off of being a champion and fighting in the ring.
IBT, have you seen the Oscar De La Hoya response that he deleted?
No, I did not. I know he made a tweet kind of jabbing at Ryan, and Ryan called him a hater, but I didn't know he responded.
Yeah, are you on Twitter or something? I could send this to you.
Yeah, send it to me on Twitter. I follow you. I'll send you something.
I probably follow you. Let me just type in IBT.
Yeah, I'm BT Boxing Truth. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, IBT Mortal Boxing Truth. Okay. Next. Right, here you go, bro. Because I'm on my phone.
Okay.
You call your boss a hater when you're like friends with your boss.
Yeah.
That's where the situation where that sort of thing comes up, right? Otherwise, you talk about your grievances in a professional manner, and you try to get your needs met.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like I've never heard anyone talk poorly about their boss. Obviously, I mean that's happened. It's pretty common for some people, but just exactly what you said. They have to be at least sort of friends. Because he called him just a hater, like nothing severe. You're hating on me, man.
Did you get that? I sent it to you via DM.
You do realize I pay you? Oh my lord, is this real?
Read it.
I'm just gonna screen share. I need to log in on my desktop.
You gotta.
That is insane. Oh,
He invoked the Lord. Okay, what's going on here?
It's looking incredible, bro.
That is amazing. Oh man, I don't remember my password. Let me give me a second. I'm gonna mute myself just because I typed loud. But Get the Smoke's channel. He does not make content, but for his own channel. But he makes content for other people, basically like myself. Goes on the panel all the time. His YouTube channel is also Get the Smoke, by the way.
You'll appreciate this, bro.
Hello? Am I?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize Mark had jumped out. I'm just muted because I'm typing. I need to log into Twitter so I can screen share it.
Yeah, that's what's it.
You can just download the image.
Yeah, I can. But on my Twitter account that I use for not boxing, I haven't used it in a long time. It's the one I'm signed in on desktop, so I'm just looking at Twitter through my phone. But let me just get it really quick. Sorry.
Dora, you could always email it to yourself, from your phone. download it, email it to yourself.
You are correct. I'll just send it to myself. Yeah. That I cannot believe he said that. That is pretty. That is amazing. Oh my god. Who? Why would he do that? Like, in all fairness, like, did he think people wouldn't see it? Like, he's gonna eventually see it. You know what I mean?
That's fucking
This is
amazing.
not fake. This is real. Are you sure?
I haven't said if it's fake or real. I just want you to screenshot it.
No. This is amazing. Oh my lord.
So read the tweet so we can all laugh.
He's gonna screen share it.
Yeah, I'll just screen share it here because I don't think I use this kind of.
What type of keyboard do you have, bro?
I have a Corsair mechanical keyboard.
Of course you do. You're a gamer, aren't you?
So it says, I'm screen sharing it now.
You do realize I pay you, you skinny bitch. And quit posting those little tip-top videos and pussy punch challenges. They're embarrassing. And that's coming from a guy who wears fishnets and heels.
This is not real. This is not real. But
Yeah, that's not real.
This is amazing. I want to believe with all my heart that this is real. That is.
Well, that would be definitely a guy who is comfortable in his situation.
How incredible would that have been if that was real?
It is real.
Okay, so I just got my glasses on. Like, you took the screen share away.
Oh, okay. I'll get it back up. Don't worry.
Smoke went to get the glasses to fucking see that shit.
Mark, as far as I'm concerned, okay, just me speaking on myself, this is real.
Okay.
I believe so too.
This happened.
Okay. Oh yeah. You do realize I pay you, you skinny bee. You quit pushing those little tips out of videos.
Do you know what that's like? You know when you see those Jimmy Kimmel things like celebrities read mean tweets?
Yeah.
That's one of those mean tweets. And quit posting those little tip-top videos and pussy punch challenges. They're embarrassing. And that's coming from a guy who wears fishnets and heels.
Mike, I'm not gonna lie. I read up till around here, and then that's when I said, "Oh my lord," and I stopped reading it. So I would have been able to tell.
Yeah.
I didn't see your cursor.
So, around here.
I see how Oscar tried to spin the worst of it into fishnets, but yeah, that's not really the worst of it. I would rather take the tip tap videos. He is definitely Oscar is the czar of embarrassing moments on video, on camera. He can't preach to Ryan about that. Sorry.
The czar. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that is gold.
To be fair though, it's so ludicrous and out there, right? That Oscar could actually post something like that, right? Then delete it and people will believe it's fake.
Yeah, I mean, it is real. What do you mean?
Yo, that's a big IBT.
So first I was saying how self-aware he was. Now I feel like he's a little bit delusional. If he thinks that Ryan Garcia's videos are embarrassing, but his videos are somehow less embarrassing? Nah, sorry. You should have just left it alone. You should have left that. I pay your bills, you skinny bitch, and then stopped. Full stop.
Yeah, that would have been good. Smoke, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do believe that is photoshopped. So he did not really say that.
Hold on, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you see any Photoshop lines?
Hey, listen. Charlo ducked at work, says Oscar De La Hoya. So Oscar, and I agree that Ryan Garcia, listen, if Oscar didn't actually tweet it, the entire world said this.
Very true. Regardless of whether it was truly came from his account, it likely has manifested in his brain at one point.
I'm just saying, if that's a Photoshop, it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Because normally you can see the shadows. This must be a whiz. Whoever did this must be fucking fantastic with Photoshop. Whoever it is.
I think likely whoever created that tweet, if it is fabricated, we're not sure, right? Because it looks so real. But just on the basis of would he say this, they're likely
It's very highly possible Oscar De La Hoya could say something like that if he's had a line of coke.
one line. I think he needs half
a line of coke. A line of coke too many.
Oh, yeah, too many.
Actually, there is no too many line of coke for Oscar.
Yeah, it's kind of
How come Oscar De La Hoya? Two questions about Oscar De La Hoya's wife. Why is she never invited to the party, and why is she still with him?
Money.
Okay, so she's shopping. She's at the store while all of this is happening.
Bro, well, all that's going on, bro. She's up on Fifth Avenue, fam.
Okay.
Oh my god.
She's on the jet.
Where else do you think he gets? Hold on, Smoke.
Okay.
Smoke. Where else do you think he gets the heels from? No.
Yeah, who do you think does the shopping for?
Those red bottoms, huh? He's got two. What is it? He's got 2 cheeks and 4 heels of red bottoms.
I'm looking here at the shadows, and I should say, what shadows? Whoever created this really just a genius behind the editing process.
I think they're absolutely phenomenal. Do you see any shadows there?
What do you shadows? What shadows? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. I think this is a screenshot just cropped.
It is.
I don't know if I believe it though because it's in light mode, you know. So there is discussion to whether it could be fake because it is on light mode. But other than that, I
use light mode.
Oh,
you do? That's a funny coincidence.
And he did definitely like leave out utensils is protruding from his orifices. So yeah, like generally you wouldn't highlight that if that happened to you.
Hey, we don't talk about Mr. Spatula, okay?
Yeah.
Don't be dogging on the Photoshop, bro. It took effort. For whoever did it, it took them a lot of effort.
Yeah, whoever it was.
Yeah. Golden Boy loves you, Jesus. What would you say is Oscar's favorite utensil? The spatula?
All right, and with that,
what I would say a whisk. He seems like the type of guy who gets down to churn, baby, churn.
Churn, baby, churn. Oh my god.
I don't know how he gets that uninhibited with strangers. Like, how is he this comfortable with people who clearly don't give a flying fuck about him?
Alcohol, drugs, and having a penis.
I think the electric hand mixer would be Oscar's go-to.
Electric hand mixer. I don't know, man. I think he's probably a fan of that KitchenAid.
Yeah, reputable brand, good for
I think that those girls, those ladies, those women just didn't get to know the real Oscar De La Hoya, so they could leave the kitchen and get to the real appliances.
Exactly.
Can you do me a favor and actually call them by their real names, okay? Those thoughts. Okay? Those thoughts. By the way, you know that woman who claimed Oscar De La Hoya tried to like fist her or whatever? Do you all remember that?
I do.
Now, maybe it's just me. I don't think her story ties up. Let me tell you why. If a Hall of Fame professional boxer tries to shove his fist inside of you, he's getting it in there. He's getting it in there.
I don't think there's a struggle. I think it's like you'd be able to see visible.
Jesus Christ.
Right. There's just several jokes centered around the word box, right? There's just boxer,
Fuck's sake.
boxer.
I'm gonna boxing. I'm the gold. But for real though, do y'all really think that he wouldn't get it in there if he really wanted to?
I think it's a little more than getting it in there. I think
Listen,
it's,
Oscar De La Hoya had a phenomenal jab. He had a Hall of Fame jab.
He had a great hook on him too, didn't he?
Do you guys remember his hand speed in his heyday?
Bro, I'm just saying his hook would have been enough to send her to the ER. Figure it out for yourself.
Tell me this speed and precision is not enough.
I wonder if hey mate, Oscar, you never hook with a hooker.
Yeah, maybe that's why he didn't end up going through, man.
Jesus Christ. Fuck. Never hook with a hooker. Fuck it out. I'm sorry, bro. I shouldn't be going on to live streams like this, man. I'm too inappropriate.
No, you're good, man. This
if you're looking for a professional vibe, don't invite me on.
Mark, don't worry. I'm not big enough for that yet, man. I'm just chilling right now. Oh, maybe this smoke.
Wait, what?
Smoking had an issue. He just came back in. I think he's still laughing.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's a good one.
What part killed you?
Yeah, oh no, hooking with the hookers, baby. Hooking with the hookers.
Mark, you're perfect for this kind of stream because Smoke and I are both like, I think we've basically gone delusional because it's 3 a.m. here, but you're in your peak condition right now.
I'm not in my peak condition, bro.
It's your peak condition.
Right. Me at my peak is normally about 8 p.m. through 4 a.m. Even though, like, I got some sleep, like... Smoke, you've seen me on YouTube for a while now. Have you ever really seen me on like at around 11 a.m. my time, around 3 a.m. your time?
No,
you
never.
Ever really seen me on?
I've been with you when you have done like multiple hours straight. Maybe not quite 24, but close, like somewhere past the 8-hour mark.
Yes, that's
somewhere way past that.
This is
and bringing up the morning, and also actually all through the night too.
Yeah, I've done that, but it's very rare. It is a rarity.
You're in your prime, just like Roy Jones was versus Kawasaki, right?
No, I'm in my prime like Roy Jones was against Enzo Macronelli, bro.
Okay,
so it's like go to sleep, little baby, when that fight's playing. Go to sleep.
Did you say Roy Jones fought Abracadabra? Like, what the hell was that name?
Enzo Macronelli.
Okay, yeah, that's better. That's better.
Abracadabra, nah, bro.
All right, guys, I got some bad news. I probably should go now. This is supposed to be like a 30-40 minute stream, but it's been a pleasure having you on.
That's what you sold me on. You sold me on a half an hour.
I didn't realize the time. I just processed. I knew, but I just processed. But it's been a pleasure having you on. I liked the early discussion, and I loved the second half. That was pretty hilarious. So thank you guys for coming on. If you have any final thoughts.
Yeah, never hook with a hooker.
Yeah, man. My thoughts exactly. That's it.
All right. If anyone's even in the chat right now, thanks for coming by. This is pretty good. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, peace, guys.
I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Take care. Peace.